My name is Claire. I turned 31 last year. I live alone in a small house on the edge of a college town in Virginia, the kind of place where the streets are lined with maple trees and every third driveway has a basketball hoop. I bought the house 4 years ago with the down payment I scraped together from overtime at the community college bookstore where I work. I handle textbooks, run the register during rush weeks, and manage online orders the rest of the time. The job is steady, low drama, and I like the predictability. Or I did. My routine was simple and the same every day. Alarm at 6:20. Feed the cat while the coffee brewed. Leave the house at 7:15 to miss the worst of the student traffic. Arrive at the bookstore by 7:50, open the doors at 8. Lunch at 12:30, usually a salad from the campus cafe or leftovers from home. Back at work until 5. Home by 5:45. A quick walk around the block to clear my head, then dinner around 7. Maybe a podcast while I folded laundry. Bed by 10:45. Saturdays were for the farmer's market downtown and a stop at the hardware store if anything needed fixing. Sundays were quiet. Laundry, reading, maybe a call to my mom. The first envelope came in late February. No stamp, no return address, just my name and the house number in careful block letters. Inside was a single typed sentence. You always lock the front door at exactly 10:48 after turning off the porch light. It's comforting to see the routine. I read it twice, then locked the drawer it went into. I told myself it was probably a bored neighbor playing a prank. I started turning the porch light off at 10:30 instead. 10 days later, another envelope appeared in the mailbox. This one contained a small color printout of a photo. Me at the farmer's market the previous Saturday, holding a bag of apples, mid-laugh while talking to the vendor. The shot was taken from behind a stall about 20 feet away. No note, just the image. The date was printed in the corner, February 22nd. I remembered that morning. The sun had been bright, the air still cold enough for a scarf. I hadn't noticed anyone watching. I drove to the police station the same afternoon. The officer listened without interrupting, took copies of both envelopes and the photo, and added them to a file. He said anonymous letters like this were uncommon but not unheard of in small towns. People get fixated on patterns, especially when someone lives alone. He advised me to photograph every new piece of mail, change small habits, and consider a security camera. I ordered a doorbell camera and a basic outdoor one for the driveway that same evening. The cameras went up over the weekend. For 3 weeks, they recorded ordinary things: delivery drivers, the neighbor's teenager shooting hoops, stray cats crossing the lawn. Then on a Thursday night at 11:03, motion triggered the driveway camera. The footage showed a man in a dark windbreaker standing at the curb in front of my house. He didn't step onto the property. He simply stood there for 6 minutes and 40 seconds, hands in his pockets, head slightly tilted as if listening to the house breathe. Then he turned and walked away at the same unhurried pace, vanishing around the corner. I brought the clip to the police the next morning. They enhanced it as much as the resolution allowed. No clear face, no distinguishing marks beyond average height and build. They logged it as suspicious activity and told me to keep the cameras running. I began shifting my habits more deliberately. I left for work at 7:05 one day, 7:25 the next. I stopped at different cafes for lunch. I varied the farmer's market days and switched to a different hardware store. The envelopes paused for almost 6 weeks. I started to breathe easier, convinced the attention had moved on. And then one Monday I returned from work and found a small cardboard box on the porch. No label, just my address in the same block letters. Inside was a single Honeycrisp apple, the variety I buy every week, and a folded note. You changed your departure time again. Tuesday mornings now. I noticed the car was gone earlier. The apple is still your favorite. My stomach turned over. I hadn't mentioned the schedule shift to anyone outside work. I called the police from the porch. They collected the box, the apple, the note. Fingerprints came back negative. The back gate latch showed faint scratches, possible tampering, but nothing conclusive. After that, the appearances started. I'd be waiting at the light near campus and glimpse the same dark windbreaker crossing the street, 1 block ahead. Or I'd stop for gas and see him at the air pump 2 bays over, cap pulled low, pretending to check his tires. He never approached, never made eye contact, but the timing was too precise to be random. The cameras captured more. Nightly walks past the house around 10:10, same measured stride along the sidewalk. Pauses under the street lamp across the street, head raised toward my windows. One clip showed him raising a phone, holding it steady for several seconds before lowering it. I couldn't prove he was taking pictures, but the gesture looked deliberate. I stopped the neighborhood walks. I kept the blinds drawn after sunset. I moved the cat's food bowl away from the window. I slept with my phone charging beside the bed and the bat from the garage leaning against the nightstand. In August, I came home to find the kitchen smelling faintly of cinnamon. I don't bake. On the counter was my favorite mug, the white one with the tiny crack in the handle, filled with fresh chamomile tea, still steaming. Next to it, a note. You stopped going to the farmer's market on Saturdays? I brought you an apple anyway. It's in the fruit bowl. I backed out of the house without touching anything and called from the car. The police arrived quickly. No signs of forced entry. The kitchen window latch looked loose, possibly jimmied earlier in the day while I was at work. They took the mug, the tea, the note. I stayed with my sister that night, then the next 3. I moved out at the end of the month. Packed quietly over a long weekend with my sister's help. Found a 1-bedroom apartment 40 miles away, 3rd floor, secure entry, no street parking visible from the unit. I left the college bookstore job and took a remote position with a larger library system doing digital cataloging. I changed my phone number, my email, even switched grocery stores and pharmacies. It's been 8 months. The new apartment is quiet. No envelopes in the mailbox, no shadows pausing under street lights, no unexpected tea waiting on the counter. I still keep the bat by the bed. I still look through the peephole twice before opening the door. I still wake up sometimes at the old 10:48 time slot, listening for footsteps that never come. I don't know who he was. I don't know if he ever stood outside the old house after I left, waiting for the porch light to flick on at the wrong hour. I don't know if he learned my new address somehow, or if he's simply waiting for another routine to form. But I know he studied me the way someone studies a map, patiently, thoroughly, without hurry. And I know that kind of patience doesn't vanish when the map changes. I still leave at different times each day. I still take different routes home. I still check the rearview mirror more often than necessary. Because somewhere, someone might still be memorizing the new one.